Life is a blank canvas, a book with endless pages waiting to be filled. Yet too often we let others hold the pen. We let fear, doubt, circumstances, or the opinions of others dictate what we write, or worse, we stop writing altogether. But here's the truth: you are the author of your own story. And no matter what has happened in your life so far, no matter what challenges you face, you still hold the power to create a masterpiece. I know this because I've lived it. When I was born without arms and legs, the world tried to tell me what my story would be. He'll never walk, he'll never have a normal life, he'll always need help. Those were the labels placed on me before I even knew what those words meant. As a child, I struggled with those expectations. I felt like my story had already been written for me, and it was a tragedy. Have you ever felt that way? Like the circumstances around you are too overwhelming, like your struggles are defining who you are. That was me. Every day, I battled feelings of worthlessness, anger, and frustration. I wondered why I was even here. What could I possibly offer the world? But here's the thing about stories: they're not finished until you decide they're finished and finished. And somewhere along the way, I realized that I wasn't a victim of my circumstances. I was the creator of my destiny. My lack of arms and legs wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning of a new one. I began to see my life not as a burden, but as a gift. It was an opportunity to prove that the impossible could become possible, that the limits placed on me by the world were nothing compared to the limitless potential inside me. And that same truth applies to you. Your story might be messy right now. It might be filled with pain, with struggles, with chapters you'd rather forget. But let me tell you something: the most beautiful stories are often born from the hardest moments. Those struggles you're facing, they're not roadblocks, they're stepping stones. They're the raw material you can use to craft a story of resilience, of courage, of triumph. It's not about avoiding challenges, it's about rising above them. I learned that I couldn't change the fact that I was born without limbs, but I could change the way I responded to it. I could either let it defeat me, or I could let it empower me, and you have that same choice. When you wake up each morning, you have two options. You can focus on what you don't have, or you can focus on what you do have. You can choose to be bitter, or you can choose to be better. You can let the world write your story, or you can pick up the pen and write it yourself. I know it's not always easy. There were days when I wanted to give up, days when I questioned whether my life had any value at all. But in those moments, I reminded myself of one simple truth: as long as I'm breathing, my story isn't over. And the same is true for you. You might feel like your circumstances are insurmountable. Maybe you're dealing with a loss, a failure, or a setback that feels too big to overcome. But let me tell you something: the size of the obstacle doesn't determine the outcome of your story. Your response does. It's not about what happens to you, it's about what you do with what happens to you. When I started speaking to audiences around the world, I didn't do it because I had all the answers. I did it because I wanted to share one simple message: hope is real and change is possible. Hope is what allows you to see past the darkness of today and into the light of tomorrow. It's what keeps you moving forward even when the path isn't clear. And change begins the moment you decide to take ownership of your story. It's not about waiting for someone else to rescue you or for life to get easier. It's about saying, this is my life and I'm going to make the most of it. That's what I did, and that's what you can do too. Your story is unique. It's one of a kind. No one else has lived your experiences, faced your challenges, or dreamed your dreams. And because of that, no one else can write your story the way you can. But here's the thing: you've got to start. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. Start where you are with what you have. Start small if you need to. Just start. The first step might be the hardest, but it's also the most important. And as you write your story, remember this: every page is a new opportunity. Every day is a chance to begin again. You're not defined by your past, you're defined by the choices you make today. So if you've made mistakes, if you've fallen short, if you face rejection or failure, don't let that stop you. Use it, learn from it, grow because of it. I've failed more times than I can count. The first made mistakes, I've faced rejection. And I've had moments where I felt like giving up, but I didn't let those moments define me. Instead, I let them refine me. And here's something else I've learned: your story isn't just about you. It's about the impact you can have on others. When I stand on stage and share my journey, it's not because I want people to feel sorry for me. It's because I want them to see what's possible in their own lives. Your story has that same power. It can inspire, it can encourage, it can change lives, but only if you're willing to share it. Don't hide your story. Don't be ashamed of it. Embrace it. because it's what makes you who you are. So today I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to take ownership of your story, to stop letting fear, doubt, or the opinions of others hold you back, to stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to live your life. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You just need to believe that you are enough, that you are capable, and that you are worthy of writing a story that matters, because you are. You have the power to create something extraordinary. You have the power to overcome any obstacle, to rise above any challenge, and to turn your dreams into reality, but it starts with a decision. A decision to pick up the pen, to take control, and to write your story with courage, with faith, and with purpose. Your past doesn't define you. Your circumstances don't define you. You define you. Yet as long as you're alive, your story isn't over. It's just beginning. So write it well, write it boldly, and write it with the belief that the best is yet to come.